Here's a question. Is it remotely possible that any of the heavenly beings could be referred to as rulers or authorities? The application of this mystery has been hidden from the beginning of the world in God, the creator of the universe, so that through the church, the wisdom of God might be made known to the rulers and authorities in the heavens. Here, we see the idea that there are rulers and authorities in the heavenly realms. And not only that, but these rulers apparently are unaware of God's wisdom, which seems to implicate a certain group of heavenly beings known as demons. So we now have a second group of rulers mentioned. Notice also that apo-ion, or from the beginning of the ages, or the beginning of the world, is used here to show that God's plans were already in place from the very beginning of time. Speaking of demons, the author of Colossians mentions these same heavenly authorities as being something that Jesus had overcome, and in fact uses the exact same language, arche kai exousia, as we saw in the Ephesians passage. Having stripped the principalities and the authorities, he made a show of them openly, having triumphed over them in it. Here we see the exact Greek wording from Ephesians, arche kai exousia. If this refers to the same heavenly authorities mentioned in Ephesians, then this passage implies that there were not only good authorities in heaven, but evil ones as well. Another point here is that Jesus did not strip the Romans of their power by his death on the cross, but he did strip the demons of theirs, because the early Christians believed that one day he would appear on earth and put the demons, the rulers of this age, under his feet, under his control, and settle the entire matter for good. But did demons really exist in heaven, and did they really have any authority in heaven? One might ask, where else would demons exist but in heaven? In his letter to the Smyrnians, Ignatius indicates that there are invisible rulers inhabiting heaven, and that some of these rulers did not believe in Jesus. Let no man deceive himself. Both the things which are in heaven, and the glorious angels, and rulers, both visible and invisible, if they believe not in the blood of Christ, shall, in consequence, incur condemnation. Invisible rulers in heaven that do not believe in the blood of Christ. It sounds a lot like Ignatius is speaking of demons to me. If we could find a passage that used the phrase rulers of this age to clearly mean demons, then it would go a long way toward unlocking the meaning behind Paul's rulers of this age. Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in the heavenly places. Here is our key to completely unlocking 1 Corinthians 2, verses 6 through 8. It echoes Paul, but in much more explicit language. Clearly, the rulers of the darkness of this age, the principalities and powers, arche kai exousia, must refer to the demons, since, as the passage tells us, they are not flesh and blood, and because they are described as being wicked and dwelling in the heavenly places. The word translated as rulers here is not archon, but cosmokrator, and is used only once in the entire New Testament. What does that word mean? According to Strong's Greek lexicon, entry 2888, it means the Lord of the world, prince of this age, the devil and his demons. Here's another passage from Paul that refers to Satan indirectly as one who is in authority over the entire world or age, in whom the God of this world, Ion, hath blinded the minds of them which believe not. Here is yet another passage from Ephesians, which tells us that the demons inhabited not only heaven, but the very air between the earth and heaven, in which you once walked, according to the age of this world, according to the ruler of the authority of the air. Here, the ruler of the authority of the air is Satan, and the authority of the air are the demons. The same Greek words are used, archon and exousia. At the time Christianity began to emerge, The demons were believed to be responsible for sickness, bad weather, and a host of other ills. That the demons had authority over the lowest part of heaven and over earth itself can be seen in the passages we've just examined. The demons could even possess people and cause them to harm themselves or others. There are almost 60 references to demon possession in the 4 Gospels, and apparently even Christians were not immune. In the Gospel of Mark and Luke, we read that Mary Magdalene was possessed by no less than 7 demons. Earth is full of demons. Humanity is plagued by them. Almost all misfortunes are because of demons. Sickness, drought, death, and especially humanity's weaknesses about remaining faithful to the covenant with God. The region between heaven and earth seems to be almost cluttered by demons and angels. Humanity is often seen as a pawn, helpless in the face of such cosmic forces. The idea that Paul is referring to the demons in 1 Corinthians 2 is not a new one. In fact, it's been around for almost 1900 years. Marcion and Origen both interpreted Paul's rulers of this age to mean demons. Demons were believed to have a certain amount of authority over mankind, but only during the present wicked age or Aion, which extended all the way back to the days of Adam or the creation of the world. The demons would not have authority any longer in the Aion to come, when Jesus, at his end-time appearance, would put those wicked spiritual authorities away forever. We can see the future hope of the early Christians regarding the final defeat of the demons in 1 Peter 3:22. Who is gone into heaven and is on the right hand of God, angels and authorities and powers being made subject to him. Here, we should also note that the rulers are mentioned along with the angels, and the scene in question is heaven, not earth. This is a good indication that these rulers were the demons. The same idea can be found in 1 Corinthians 15:24. Then cometh the end, when he shall have delivered up the kingdom to God, even the Father, when he shall have put down all rule and all authority and power. Now, we've clearly established that the demons were referred to as rulers and powers in the heavenly places. So let's go back and reread 1 Corinthians 2, 6 through 8, and let me put a diagram up showing what I think Paul has in mind, and let's see if Paul has a temporal group of earthly leaders in mind or an eternal group of heavenly demons in mind.